There are two types of people in this world. There are those people who love pizza, and there are liars. Lads, ladies, and gentlemen, gather around here today. We have our eggplant pizzas for dinner. Get excited, it's a fantastic recipe. You're gonna love it. And I think the only difference between eggplant and snot is that kids will actually eat their snot. But not after you make this recipe, guys. It is tasty as if you've got kids and they don't like veggies, you're hiding them in here, they're gonna love it. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'll be letting you in on the facts about how the innocent old eggplant has actually replaced the banana as the world's most dominant phallic fruit. Not to mention, unfortunately, placed chorizos. But yes, it is actually a fruit because it has seeds, but it is still my favorite vegetable. Alright guys, so let's get into it. We're gonna start chopping up our eggplant. Now you can make them thin, you can make them thick, you can make them for like deep dish pizza, or you can make thin and crispy. I generally just end up with however I chop it because my chopping skills are not that even. But look at that, we're away. And keep the end bits because they are still tasty. Actually, they end up becoming the bits for the chef anyhow. So once you've got them, get them on a baking tray or something that can contain the moisture, and we're gonna put a bit of salt, actually a shitload of salt on them. We want the moisture coming out of the eggplants so they're not too soggy later on. And look at that, you can just see the moisture in it, and give it a bit of a shake if you feel the need, and give them a good flip over, right? We want all the moisture running down into the pan, and giving it a good flip seems to help. Turn on your Barbie, and let's remove the pan that I probably should have looked at earlier and move that into our grill plate because we want as much heat as possible before we get these pizzas on the go. Now, be a good boy, give it a clean because the wife likes a clean pan. Actually, as do I. I don't like the crispy burnt bits that end up on there if you don't give it a clean. Now, first things first, we're gonna get them on the grill plate and we're gonna give them a brief par cooking so they don't get soggy later on when we put all our delicious toppings on. Then we're gonna give a bit of extra virgin olive oil here. Now, you guys didn't see it, but when I went back inside to get the olive oil spray, I kicked my toe on the door. Chook asked me if I was all right, and I said that olive. Now, you can see the amount of moisture that come out of these guys, and it's pretty wild. All right, grab your phallic chorizo and start chopping him up with your wine and your mushrooms because they're going to be forming our topping, one for the chef always. Make sure you've got some music going on in the background. I actually had my sausage playlist playing, and basically every song on there is an absolute banger. My jokes occasionally kind of just like sausages. The worst ones are the best. Anyway, the fact remains that people love babies and they love sausages, but no one wants to see how they're made. Now, if you guys have been following the channel, you'll know that I made a Vietnamese soup called pho, but I can tell you as a very strong recommendation, don't put your chopped up chorizo into the pho because it's the fucking worst. Once you've got your mushroom chopped up, and we're gonna squash that garlic and chop out the bad bit that we see in here. Yuck. Yuck. Who knows? You just never know if you're gonna get a bad bit in garlic. It's shocking. Anyway, the garlic looked like it was getting pretty hot in there, so I thought I'd help him out by taking off all his cloves. Now, a lot of people cry when they're chopping onions or garlic, and guys, I found the trick is to not form an emotional bond with them. That'll help you a lot. Or just have some chewing gum. Yeah, and Mum was always on to me about not keeping things bottled up, so I figured I would unleash a wino back into the wild and get around it, and it was delicious. You could just about bloody say I was on cloud wine. I'm not a wino, but I'm a wine yes kind of guy. Guys, honestly, sometimes sip happens, but, sip sip hooray. Now, as Puma once put it, Hakuna Moscato. You can't go wrong. It just means be happy for the rest of your days. One thing I've learned through marriage is just to whine a little and laugh a lot. But we are not here to talk about wine any more than we should. So let's get these eggplants flipped again. So the old pizza stone had been out of commission for a while, and Chook found it before I did and showed me that there was very, very questionable mold growth on it. I had to tell her to respect its culture. Now once they look done, pull them off, and we're gonna get our toppings onto them, and we're gonna lay down some sweet sauce before we actually do that as well. Hello, here's one for the chef, I think. There he is, cheeky little bugger. And get your nice clean pizza stone and pop him in the barbecue. If you didn't clean it, the heat would probably destroy the mold anyhow. But do clean it, because it's gross if you don't. Now squirt a bit of your pizza sauce right onto the eggplants there as the base, and then we're gonna get the spoon and mix that in. And while we're doing that, do you wanna know the difference between my bloody bogan neighbors and these delicious eggplant pizzas? And the truth is that these pizzas can feed a family of 4, I'm sure, but they're busy out the back, breeding more and smoking meth. Anyway, what's the difference between a pizza and my pizza jokes? My pizza jokes can't be topped. Well, actually they can, and I'm doing it right now. So get your cheese on the eggplant based with sauce. Make sure you've got just the perfect amount in the bowl. I nearly ran out here, but perfect, of course. Then we're gonna pop on our mushrooms and our chorizo sausage, and then a bit of garlic sprinkle on top of that. I've got a very funky story for you guys, it's hilarious. I took my last exam at uni on magic mushrooms, and I passed with flying colours. Actually, I think they were shiitakes, but I can't be sure. I'm just looking at this schmozzle here, I just realised that you really do need as much room as possible when you're putting all your toppings on, because if stuff falls down the side, you can't quite pick it up as easily as you should be able to, and that's just lost product, which is not good. Now I figured you guys would be waiting for this one, so why was the mushroom the life of the party? It wasn't because he was a fun guy, guys. He was giving out free cocaine, that's why. Also, just putting it out there, I do not condone the use of drugs. Anyway, who needs drugs when you can get an eyeful of this? Have a look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. They're about to be cooked. Now you're gonna need some very delicate skills here, which is something I was not blessed with. And so do your finest damage to these guys. Get them on the stone. Now, after I washed it, I should have probably greased that stone a bit more, but look, it's done now. And I'm sitting in front of the computer. Here he is, the best watchdog ever. He watches me eat, he watches my food on the barbie, he watches me cook, and he watches his bed. Yeah, you have a laugh about me nibbling at this stuff, but you guys can't smell how good it is until you make them yourselves. Get into it. What do you reckon this little fella's thinking? I'm feline great. Thanks for asking. But seriously, probably shouldn't be playing with animals when you're cooking, so that's a no-no from me. Now it's a widely known fact, guys, that if you're looking, you ain't cooking, so stop peeking. I had to, because I wanted to check on them. We're nearly there, but have a look at them. They're looking pretty damn nice. The cheese is not quite brown enough yet, we need full brown factor, but it's getting there, it's getting there. Have another cheeky look. I think they took around about 10 to 15 minutes. Still not quite ready, but you know, another couple of minutes and they'll be there. Perfect. Alright, the moment has arrived, we're ready, they're looking good, and guys, these should just slide off super easily, just like this. Really, really easily. God, you'd think it's almost Teflon coated, how easily they're coming off. I'm just really glad that this was not an absolutely frustrating experience getting them off the stone. I thought they might stick a little bit, but I'm just glad they didn't. And it was just really a very simple method to remove them. I did have the Jaws of Life ready, but thankfully we didn't need them in the end. Well, congratulations guys, you've made it through all those horrific puns and shitty jokes. So let's have a look at this pizza. I'll tell you what guys, these pizzas look a lot better than my jokes do. Now guys, like and subscribe for the love of God. These videos take a lot of time and are quite the undertaking. Now I don't think it's pun reasonable of me to ask you to click that little subscribe button below because it's really going to help out. It would be really unfortunate if I had to stop making these videos, guys. Alright guys, they're finished. We're about to get stuck into them. These are more a knife and fork jobby. It's not because I'm fancy, it's just because it's eggplant. It's a bit soft. So you can try and pick it up, and I think anyone watching you is going to find it quite funny. But let's try it with our knife and fork. Alright. That is looking good. Bit of chorizo, bit of mushroom, bit of cheese. Well, that's definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. I know my mate Gordon Ramsay would have something to say about this one. He'd be absolutely ecstatic for me, as I am with myself tonight. And a cheeky bit of red wine never hurt anybody either. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Guys, really make sure you go and like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep making these awesome recipes. You don't want your mates missing out on these. And if you are watching this at work, sucked in because it's going to be a few hours before you get home and start making them. But enjoy.